the day. It's your phone number. Do you want us just to email you, like in the morning, or call your office?
Email would be good, because that's just documentation.
Okay.
Beyond that, I got a lot of things going on. My phone would never end. So yeah, just send me an email. That's a good question.
Okay. Because I mean, you're okay with that, right? If a call runs late or something.
Well, I mean, I've already passed the class. Okay, let's see where we are. You've got the syllabus. You don't need to be reading those right now. I'm going to hit the high points for you. And then I do want you to look through there so that you know everything that's in there, because you're responsible for what's in there. You know, Steve Simpson is, our program director. He is officially the instructor for this course, so ultimately he'll make those final decisions. This is the end of the road for you guys. You've been here for a while. I want you all to graduate in December, and I want you all to pass the first time. So that's my objective. Does anybody here have a problem with that objective for yourself? Okay. When we get there, it's going to require quite a bit of work from you. And I'm going to explain to you that here in just a few minutes. But I will tell you that if you do everything we task you with, you do everything that we ask you to do, then you should be successful in December. If you don't, you're not going to be successful. And the national averages will certainly support what I'm telling you. But if you'll do all the readings that we give you, do the work that we give you, there's going to be a considerable amount of work. And if you do that stuff, you should be successful. If you don't, you probably won't be successful. So now is the time to kick it in. I know some of you feel like, I see the end. This tunnel is going to end, and you're going to finish. And you can slide through here. But really, now is the time where you've got to really crank it down, reset everything, start studying. You need to constantly be in your textbook. National Registry, they test from your textbook, and they test from critical thinking. You're not going to just get by the seat of your pants. You're going to have to know stuff. And if you talk to anybody that's taken the National Registry exam, they'll tell you it's a lot harder than they thought it was going to be. So I want you to be prepared. So make a commitment to yourself these last 10 weeks that you're really going to dig in there and you're really going to take advantage of what we're offering you, so that when you get out there, you're not going to be scared to death. When you get out there, once you pass, you're going to know what you're doing, or you feel comfortable with it. And nobody can do that for you. You have to do it for yourself. And I speak from experience. I might have told you guys that halfway through my final semester, I realized that they really expected me to know those algorithms. And I didn't know the algorithms. I can tell you I learned them in 48 hours, and we have a lot more of them than you guys have now. So right there, this is that midway point that I'm telling you that you've got to do it. You've got to kick it in. You've got to know this stuff. So let's do it. The pass rates. Our state average pass rate is 54% first time. That's like half. Half the paramedic students that pass national, that are in the state, they're completing, 54% of them are passing the first time. And I have to tell you, one segment that skews this for us is USA has a bachelor's degree in EMS. The kids that are completing paramedic down there are kids with 28 and 30 ACTs. We're talking about kids that are going on to med school and paramedic school. They're skewing this for you. Probably just your regular two-year school pass rate for the state is probably more like 40%. So it's pretty dadgum sorry. And it's not because we have sorrier students, because I've been there and I've been here. We don't have sorrier students, but we sometimes have less motivated students. So you have the same ability to do it, but are you going to challenge yourself to do it? And I encourage you, if you've never set your mind and heart to something, do it now and see what you can do. This class is capable of 100% pass rate. I can tell you what, if everybody in this class passed this, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably have a stroke, and then you wouldn't have to worry about me anymore. But really, I would be the happiest person on earth, but you're capable of it.
Can we just have a pizza party instead of you stroking out?
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. I'll require a vegetarian pizza, though.
Or maybe a barbecue off campus.
Off campus, yeah.
With drinks?
No.
With alcohol.
With drinks.
Yeah. The other thing I want to point out to you, too, hey, I'm here till 9 o'clock on Tuesday nights, and it's something for me to get turned around and be back here and find a parking place by 8:30 in the morning. So I'm going to ask for your indulgence. I will try to be as pleasant as possible, but I get kind of tested when I haven't had much sleep. The national average is only 71%. And I mean, we're talking about states that prize education a little bit higher than we do here. This figure of 54% first-time pass rate, we're the lowest in the United States. We're behind Mississippi. So you guys can help us. You can help your state, and I would appreciate that. So this is something we really need to strive for. Does anybody here think that you can't pass national ratio the first time? Okay, good. I'm going to hold you to it. Okay, the content of this course, you know, you took a pretest on all those different areas, and we pulled all those figures together, and we found out, based on that, what your weak areas are. And they're in order. Trauma was, by and large, the most hugest, grossest segment that you guys are really, really bad. Out of 17 students in this class, only 5 of you passed all segments. I think there was a couple that failed more than they passed. So trauma was by and large the weakest area. Medical and cardiology were tied, and the medical is very disappointing. The cardiology, you know, we had a change. Some of you guys took cardiology over a year ago, and I think it kind of showed by the time you took this test. Operations were okay. OBGYN was pretty darn good, and airway was pretty darn good. So I feel good about that. But these are the areas that we're mostly going to focus on. We're bringing in some other content too. We're going to look at capnography so that you understand that. Hopefully by the end, when you leave here, you'll be able to look at any waveform or most waveforms, and I'll be able to categorize them and have a pretty good idea about what's going on with the patient based on that. I hope. So we've got a lot of things planned for you for this fall. As I mentioned before, we're going to be in here usually from about 8:30 to 11:30, kind of give or take a little bit. In the afternoons, we should be in the lab. We'll take a lunch break in there too. Okay, you are responsible for the material in the syllabus, so make sure you read through it. You kind of know what's in there. Your requirements for every week are fairly in-depth. I've listed them pretty much in your syllabus, but if you look on the Canvas course, then you'll see it's broken down better by dates. Now, I can't tell you I haven't made any, yes? You could, I gave them out earlier. I'm sorry you missed that. Where was I?
The syllabus itself, like
Do
going
you
over
agree?
them.
Okay, yes. So on Canvas, I've got the dates in there. I can't say I haven't made some errors because I probably have. I've been up late at night working on that. So if you see some errors, let me know. I can fix it. So don't worry about that. You're going to have weekly quizzes. Every week you're going to have some content that you're responsible for. That content is going to come from your textbook. So try to put in there all the chapters that are going to be covered on that quiz. So hopefully you guys have got the emails I've been sending here lately that you're responsible for checking your school email. That today we're going to cover our legal material. And a little bit of operations in there, not too much. So that everything we cover is stuff you've already had. So technically, you're responsible for it. I've done it differently than a lot of schools do, where I've given you content based each week. So each week, you're going to focus on that specific content. We're going to cover that as part of our didactic part, and we're also going to focus on that more in the lab too, so that you kind of have a concentration of some content that you're going to see on registry. The program I came out of, every week it was a different test. It was a random test. Every week we got random material. So you never knew what to study. I just went through my textbook, and every week I covered 4 or 5 chapters or however many it was, and I just worked my way through, and I hoped I knew something that we were testing on. But I feel like it's better for your learning experience if you can focus on a specific area, you know, immerse yourself in that, and then come in and test on it, and then move on. So at the end, you're going to be ready for that. So I'm looking for some feedback on that. I feel like it should be much more useful to you, but I won't know until the end to get the results. We're going to have skills check-offs too. You're required as part of your grade to be checked off on all of your skills. That's going to include 3 basic skills, which we're we're gonna be doing today, long spine board, KED, and gleaning shop. So we're gonna test off on those. You'll have 2 opportunities for that. As we move through the semester, we're gonna be testing off on the other things. Probably next week, I'm gonna talk to you, do an orientation to oral station. Have y'all done any oral station at all?
We did one with Steve and Brandy.
Okay. Well, we're
Actually, we did-
we're gonna
we did
get
that
that
one
so
with Randy.
that, you should be able to knock that one out of the ballpark. Thanks, guys. You're also gonna have some center learn activities that are required. Some of you are already signed up on center learn. Who's that? You are? Yeah. Oh, good. The others of you, Steve's gonna have it so that you'll be effective October the 1st. So at that time, you're gonna have some catch-up time. These, have you watched any of those modules? Have you done some of those?
We do our refreshers.
They're really, really good. And hopefully it will cover material that somehow has fallen through the cracks for you or for us or whatever. So it's a way to kind of cover all our bases. They're self-paced, you do them at home, we get the results. I believe there's a requirement that you make at least 70% to be considered that you pass that. So you watch these little videos, modules, whatever, and then you take a quiz at the end. And you can go back and retest that quiz often. So you'll be taking advantage of that. I am going to score those, and it's going to be based on pass-fail. You complete it, you get the points. You don't complete it, you don't get the points. You complete it on time, you get the points. You don't complete it on time, you don't get the points. Now, if there's a big computer glitch and somebody shuts off the internet, then we can work with that. But you know well in advance they've been assigned throughout the rest of the semester. So if you get a weekend off, you can sit there and you can do center learn for 24 hours. I don't care. So don't wait till the last minute because it is time driven. It's not going to let you take the test until you've gone through all the other material. So you've got to make sure you allow enough time for that.
But it won't start till October 1st, right?
Right, if we get time today, and you can come down here, we can set you guys up so you can get access, so you can watch those. You can't test yet, so that it goes under your name. But we're just talking about a week. It goes on next Tuesday, I think. Is it Monday? October the 1st is Tuesday.
So will our stuff just be due like the 9th to the 1st?
Yeah, and I'm going to explain that to you in just a minute, because it's written, it's on the Canvas course. This doesn't really have the dates. On your syllabus where it's got, what all's due, like for today, it shows what 3 center learns do. You've got a week out for that. So it's assigned this day. It's material we're basically mostly covering that day, but you'll have a week to get that in. So it won't be due till the following Tuesday night at midnight, well, 11:59. But you can start on that at any time. And Steve's going to come in and talk to you about the center learn here in just a little bit. So we have a lot of material we're going to cover because I want you guys to be successful. I insist that you come to class. I think the bulletin or whatever you call the catalog here says you can miss 20%. You miss 20% of this class and you're going to be throwing your money away at the end of the semester. And I know I don't have the time. I don't think Steve has the time either, especially with Brandon missing, to do makeup classes because you weren't here for your check-off. We just don't have the time for it. We have to go down there and spend 2 hours with you to set up a check-off because of things you missed. That takes a big cut out of my day that I just don't have. So you're going to have to be here. I've broken the course down into blocks. We've got a morning block and an afternoon block. For those of you that are in the bridge class, you're familiar with the morning and afternoon block. So you'll sign in separately for those and get some points separately for those. You can miss 2 blocks. If you miss a whole day, 2 whole blocks, you pretty much, that's your miss for the semester. We'll pass a sign-in sheet. And lastly here, as far as your attendance too, I insist that you dress tastefully. We've had a problem with the lower levels, and I'm not aware it's been a problem here particularly, but please dress tastefully. I don't want to see anybody's cracks anywhere, anytime. I think you know what I'm talking about. Okay, attendance, you'll get 5 points for every block. If you're later than about 15 minutes, you're only going to get 3 points for that block. If you leave early or come in late, more than 30 minutes, you're not getting credit for that block. And that's just the way it is. If you miss more than that, then you'll lose 5% of your overall grade for each missed class. So, if you've got a 95%, which is certainly doable for all of you, and then you lose 5%, that's okay. You still got it. Okay, this is something I don't have much problem with at the lower levels. I hope I don't have a problem with here. If you're texting or you're doing Facebook and this kind of stuff in class, then you're not learning, but it distracts me and distracts the other people around you. So I ask that you not do that. We will do some activities where if you've got your laptops, that'll be nice. I was asking a little bit earlier, if you guys have a laptop, if you could bring it, we might do some center learn activities as we're waiting to do your check-offs or as time allows so that you don't have to take that time up at home. So we may be doing that, so if you have that, bring it. If not, we can grab, a couple of computers from the computer cart. Shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, you don't need to be having any devices open. You need to be looking at any devices or doing anything like that while we're in class. If you do have some urgent reason that you're going to need it, your wife's having a baby or whatever, then let me know if you kind of leave it on stun or something. And if you have to get up and step out to take a call, that's okay. But just please let me know. Okay. I mentioned the quizzes. The quizzes will vary in length depending on the material. Like this week, it goes over the legal chapter. It's just 25 questions. But there will probably be some that may be 50 and maybe even a little bit more than that, particularly medical or possibly cardiac, maybe a little bit longer than that. So we will have those every week. They will count a certain percentage towards your grade. We'll go over that in just a minute. If you miss a quiz, and this is something new for you guys that have been in my class before, usually if you miss a quiz, you get a 0. But if you miss a quiz, because they're so important, you'll be allowed to make that up, but you'll be penalized 20%. So make sure that you're here. It's very important. All of our stuff, a lot of our stuff is going to be on Canvas. I put links in there to Center Learn so you can just get right to that. We've posted your lab sheets. I'm going to give you a stack of lab sheets too that you'll keep and bring every week. But from time to time I'll post some stuff on there. In each module I've broken them down by date. So like the module 1 is for today. I've got the Center Learn assignments on there. On some of the modules I may have an article for you to read or something of that sort. So make sure you work through all the items in the module. Okay, assessments. These are the things that you're going to be graded on. Your weekly quizzes. You're going to be graded on your national registry sheets. Now, in the past, at the EMT level, it's just a pass-fail. For us here, since ours are a little bit more in depth, you're going to get the actual score that you earn. Like the medical sheet may have 42 points. If you pass with a 38, you get a 38. You will get a couple of chances for that, and we're going to give you the higher score if you want to repeat that. That's okay. But you've got to pass all of those in order to go to the registry. So you have to pass those. There will be, on the Center Learn, as I told you, it's going to be pass-fail, but it's worth, I think, 15 or 20% of your grade, so you just got to do that. Now, there are two big exams at the end of the semester. There's a course final exam for this, which will be cumulative, that'll cover all the material that we've gone over. And then there's a program exit exam, which will cover, everything from the whole program. Our accreditation body requires that you have a course final and that you have an exit exam. And I believe the exit exam is going to be similar to the pre-test that you took. It's going to be a generated exam that comes from this National Test Bank thing. But you saw that coming in, so you're familiar with that. The course final I'll make up will be based on the material that we've covered, which will be pretty much textbook oriented. There's no extra credit, so make sure that by the end you've accumulated all the points that you can possibly accumulate. Everybody starts out with an A, you kill yourself after that. And I don't round up, it's 75% and up. So 74.9 doesn't get it, it's 75 and up, so just kind of factor that in. You have to pass this course as well as the exit exam to go to National Registry. So you can pass everything and not pass the exit exam. Now I believe, and Steve will tell you, I believe you get 3 chances to pass the exit exam. And it'll be a different exam, it's not going to be the same exam. But you'll have to complete that in order to go to National Registry. Okay, the grading summary, the weekly quizzes are worth 25%, the Center Learn activities 20%, attendance 10%, the National Registry skills 15%, and the final exams 30%. I think all of you probably know this by now. The best way to reach me is going to be by email. So send me an email I pick up my email. If by some chance I don't respond to your email, it's possible it got sent to my trash or I did something stupid with it, who knows. But email me again if you don't hear back within about 24 hours. You know, unless it's the Auburn, Alabama weekend or something, I may not get back to you in 24 hours. But if you feel like, you know, it's reasonable to expect me to answer back, then just send me another one. You can always call my office. I don't check that often because I'm hardly ever in there. But send me an email to me the best way to get me. You are responsible for everything that Southern Union sends you. So I've been sending you emails. I hope everybody's gotten them, but you're responsible for that. You've got to be in the habit of checking your school email at least once a day. If you want to forward it to your personal email, that's fine too. Just know that you're responsible for whatever they send. Any questions about this stuff so far? Good. Because it's over. So, you start this thing, Gina.
I have a question about the syllabus. What day are we supposed to have John